So, as we did previously, let's have a look at some reference to try and get an understanding of what this particular section looks like. So just whiz along, try and find something that shows the bottom of the actual. Oh yeah, there's a good one there. It's a cap. Okay, we know ours has a cap in there. So it looks like these particular sections over here, they're quite soft. They're not necessarily like what we've done in there, where they're quite angular. In fact, on here, they are quite soft as well. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is just introduce a bit of curvature into these areas over here. So the lower poly one is quite circular, not so harsh. So I'm just going to go into my front view. So this particular edge loop over here, let's bevel that and put like maybe, I think 2 segments. That's okay. Yeah, that looks alright there. And I think these 2 over here, I think these need something as well. I can just reduce a fraction a touch. Just whack the segment up. Yeah, something on those lines. Yeah, that's okay. It looks okay. That will do. So that looks fine to me in terms of the curvature that we need. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, bump, bump, bump. Yeah, that's fine. So let's apply the same principles as previously. We have our low poly, which is going to be this one. We'll duplicate that and generate the high poly, and then that should be sufficient enough for that particular component. So the thing to note is, I'm just going to press Ctrl 1 again. The thing to note is here we have an additional try that doesn't necessarily need to be there. So I'm just going to essentially select all these, the bottom faces, and I'm just going to chuck them. So press delete on top of that. And then we'll simply just grab these edges over here. And in fact, before I do anything, I probably should get ready to duplicate this. So Control D. I'm just going to move that across. I've pressed W to translate, but the pivot point is clearly over the middle of nowhere. So a quick center pivot point on that. And I'm just going to temporarily just push it there. So this is essentially going to be our correct low poly one. The low poly one needs to have edge loops in place over here. So a quick way of tidying this up is if I just in top mode deselect these two edges and then bridge the rest, and then simply fill the hole in the 2 gaps. So that one there and that one there, and fill hole. So that's clean enough. So yeah, in terms of low poly, I think that will do. We can remove some of these edges over here at a later point, once we break the normal, I suppose. In fact, let's have a look. Right, okay, so we know this particular piece of wood goes inside of that, so that's fine there. And for the high poly one, we'll put an edge down. We'll extrude this edge to give the illusion that there's a chamfer there, so that's fine. So let's move this back into the right location. So it should just simply be a matter of just going to front mode, or the right, should I say. Press F. Just going to drag that across, pressing V, and that should be in the correct location now. So this is going to be our high poly one, so I'm going to press Ctrl 1 and just allow us to focus on this. So double click this edge, extrude this edge in a touch, something along those lines is fine, and then I'm just going to fill the hole there. And likewise here, we just need to extrude this edge and pop that down a touch there. So we need to figure out which edges are relatively got a small bevel on there. So that one, that one, that one. I'd probably say that one, and that one. And that one as well. So then particular ones, bevel edge. The segments in there, 3, that looks fine, and then we can test that out by just pressing 3. That looks fine there. Yeah, I think that's good to go. That's fine. So this is going to be our high poly one. It's going to hide everything else by Control 1. Let's go back to our outliner We've accidentally put a new camera in there, I think, so if we just go to display and where are we? Show and cameras, and just hide that. So let's just confirm what we've got here. So just go back to the outliner. I thought I'd set up a shortcut key. So this one here is going to be our high poly. Let's confirm that is the case. Yep. So we can drag that out. Let's put it into a funny group, I think. In fact, we'll name it first. So we'll call this, I suppose, call it cap. Cap underscore HP. That's good to go. It's going to hide that temporarily with H, and this should be cap underscore LP. Cap underscore LP, and that will do. Let's just unhide that one with Shift H. Select these two and just drag them out as well. So that looks good to go now. So as it stands at the moment, we should have a high poly, low poly for this, high poly, low poly for this. This one, these bolts, just not this one at the moment. So let's go around and try and fix this. So let's just focus on this. In fact, no, tell a lie. We must have done it. Oh, sorry, I've forgotten you. No, we haven't. We've just got a blank, empty space. I'm just going to delete that. Right. So here we need to make sure that the previous shape or that is more or less similar to this. I think the best way to go about doing this so we don't kill ourselves in terms of time. So let's have a look here. So we just experiment here. So if I was to up until this point over here, I'll squeeze in a touch, try and get access to that. So these particular section over here, we don't want those ones. So control them, and we don't want these ones to see. So don't want them ones either. That'll do. Right. So if we put a bevel on there, I'm just going to increase that a touch, and then if I press 3 on there now, press Q and press 3. Yeah, my feeling is just undo that, we'll keep that. I think what we'll do is we'll get this to look like the correct shape in the first instance. That's going to be easier. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go top mode. I need to be a bit brave here and just delete the sections that we no longer. We're essentially going to fix one half, so it's truly pointless trying to worry about fixing every single component when in reality we just need to fix one section. So delete, and I'm going to delete, and I'm just going to fix this section over here, and then we'll just rebuild the entire mesh again. In fact, before I do that, let's try it, I suppose. So if I just go to multi-cut and draw an edge from there to there, I'm just going to experiment here, I suppose. Double click that edge, translate, just confirm that if I was to pop that there, then we should get a reasonable shape that I think we can work from. I think that's going to be our best bet. I'm just going to undo that a step because we want the edge loop to be perfectly centralized at this point. So just double click that edge loop, control backspace, go back into my multi-cut, press control, and this time control will snap it into the center. So press control on them two. That will do. They should be now be correct, and we'll just scale these in a touch in a few moments. We do need to remove some of these additional edge loops, so I'm going to double click both the edge loops and then remove these sections over here. Or should I say the other way around actually, because I want to delete them ones. So press control, drag select there, drag select there, and that should give us everything else, which it does, and then control backspace then. If I leave those in, it's going to have an impact on the curvature here, and this way it won't. Let's just select them, top view, get an idea of what's going on there, what's going on there. So I'm just going to shift these by eye actually. Yeah, that looks okay. So we need to apply the same principle over here. And then I think we probably do need to put a chamfer on there as well. Try and get some detail in there. Right, let's have a look. So we've got that one there. So let's just do the same thing we did previously. So use the multi-cut, control middle mouse button, we'll snap an edge in the center, and then remove the edges that we don't need. So double click the edge, and then we know we need these ones. So press control, and then delete them ones. And we need to apply the same principle over here as well. So multi-cut, cut that in, double click the edge, deselect them, control backspace, and then just go into vert mode, and just go into the top view, and again I'll just do this manually. So I'll put that level of curvature in there, and that level of curvature in there. I think that should be fine now. Press 3 on there. Yep. I'm going to leave it as it is at the moment. If for whatever reason when I do the bake I realise that it doesn't look good enough, it needs some additional curvature on there, then I'll just go back to my low poly and then we'll make some additional fixes as the case may be. So with that done, we just need to duplicate this a few times. So Control D, press E, J, and just rotate that around, and then press Shift D twice, and there we are. That'll do the whole thing. Select it all, combine. We have multiple verts obviously, so merge the verts, and then just go back into our edge mode over here. And because, we'll just fill that gap. Just fill a hole there. Press 3 on that, and let's have a look. See what it looks like. So that looks okay there, that looks okay there, and that looks okay there. I think we can live with that for the time being. So there's our high poly done. Let's now go and generate our low poly from this particular component. So I'm going to press Control 1 again, just to get back off subdivided mode. So this is going to be our top. Okay, I think there's already something called top HP, hence the reason why it's doing that. So I'm just going to press Control 1 again. Let's just select everything. And just delete all by type history again. And just freeze transformations. So that there, so we've got all these other tops, which I have no idea what they are, so we can actually delete them. There's a poly surface in here as well, so that I think we've got these two over here. No, we need to rename these as well. We'll do all this right at the end. For the time being, let's just generate our low poly from here. So I'm going to duplicate that. We'll just top underscore LP. Probably should be consistent in terms of our caps. For the time being, that will do. Control 1. Let's turn this into our low poly variant. So it's simply a matter of going around and removing the edge loops that we don't need. So that one there, that one there. So essentially all the adjacent edges that we had previously, just go back and delete them. So we've got a scenario over here where we know this is wasted geometry, so delete these sections and apply the same principles as before. So in top mode, just deselect these two center edges over here, or these four, and then just bridge everything together. And then just simply select these two bits and fill hole there. That's low poly there. Let's just whiz around here, do the same over here. Double click, double click. Let's have a look what we've got. Okay, that one there. And this will require just a bit of additional cleanup because we have added quite a few edges to try and undo that. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to focus on whatever I can delete in terms of the edge loops that we added for subdividing purposes. So in fact I'm going to deselect that actually, because if you notice this one over here, it's not going all the way around. So really I think we're at a stage actually that we probably shouldn't do this method. We should just do exactly what we did before, and I think just optimize one section and then essentially delete all the other bits that we don't need. I'm just going to press 4. So essentially we're just going to delete all the bits that we don't need. So we don't need those bits and we don't need those bits. So we will just optimize this section and then try and alleviate the burden of trying to clean multiple areas. we'll just have to whiz round. That's okay there. Quick delete of them and of that one. Control backspace there. Double click that loop. So the entire loops that go all the way around, they can be easily deleted, I suppose, initially. That one there. And what else have we got? We've got these ones over here, so double click, double click, double click. And then it's simply a matter of just cleaning up the additional geometry. So I think we probably could just use merge verts at this point. I'm just going to vert mode, and I'm just going to press W, click on V, and just drag these to wherever they need to be. In this instance, I can go there, I can go there. So we're just going to make sure that it's nice and low poly. The easiest way to think about it is these edges, because it's flat, they're not going to impact the shape or the profile. They're no longer needed for the purpose of the high poly, so we simply just drag these across to here, and that will do. And then likewise over here, we've got a scenario where we can just drag all these verts, because it's flat, just drag all these across to here. In fact, before we do that, probably should get rid of these internal ones. That one can go to there, that one can go to here for example, that one can go to there. Just confirm we haven't screwed anything up. Yep, that's okay. And then just whiz round and apply the same principle to these. So that one there, that one there. So all we're trying to do is trying to reduce the try count down, because it's flat and we know that we need this curvature, so these verts need to remain there, but all these internal sections no longer need to be there, so we can get rid of them. So this process is essentially just optimizing your asset. You'll find that the majority of cases you will have to do this on a regular basis. There's no easy way of having a perfect low poly and high poly first time round. You've got to be prepared to go back into your low poly that you made for the high poly and then realize that actually it needs to be further optimized at some point. There we are. There's additional couple of ones remaining, so that one can go to there as well. That one can go to there, and I believe that one there is our final one, and that should go to there. So that should be nice and optimized now. Obviously we have multiple verts everywhere. In fact we've missed one just there, so grab that one. Put that there as well. So let's now just go to vertex mode and merge verts, merge those together. And that should be it. Yep, now simply a matter of doing what we did previously. Just duplicate all of these. So press E and J and just duplicate around. Oops a daisy. It would help if I duplicated it initially, so Control D. E and J and just rotate that around. And then press Shift D twice and that should fill the entire section. So just confirm we do have it low poly, there's nothing wasted. Yeah, that's good enough to go. So combine these together, merge the verts, select all of them obviously, merge the verts, agree with the default, and that should be it. Oh no, we've missed one. Can you see we missed one just there? Not necessarily a problem, just find out where the other ones are. That one there, that one there, there should be another one over here. And finally that one there, and just press Control backspace on those. So that's fixed that as well. Right, so rebuild this again. So double click on that edge, top view, deselect these, bridge them together and simply fill these holes, and then we're good to go with regards to that as well. And then just for visualization purposes, I'm just going to go soften, harden. There we are. So there's our now optimized low poly. So let's now rename this correctly. Yeah. So we appear to have lots of low poly, high polys everywhere really, and they're all transformation, weird transformation nodes. So Control 1, unhide everything, and delete all by type history and free transformations. So the core modeling, I would argue, is finished. So it's simply going to be a matter of attaching all the low and renaming all the low to the correct names, checking the highs as well, and then getting ready for the unwrap process. So the next video will just be looking at sorting out the file, removing all the gubbins that we no longer need, and just focusing on ensuring that we have the low poly assets and the high poly assets in place with everything else removed.